Price of Fear. Brought to you by Vincent Price.
Yes, I remember Addlestrop, the name, because one afternoon of heat, the express train drew up there unwontedly. Hello, welcome. That poem by Edward Thomas will, I feel sure, be familiar to some of you, but for myself, well, let's say it evokes a very particular occasion. A story so bizarre and so horrendous, I still find it difficult to decide whether it actually happened or not. I've called it Blind Man's Bluff. But to begin at the beginning, then. I was on my way to visit some friends in a remote part of the West Country. The train was certainly no express, but we were jogging along quite nicely through the lovely Cornish countryside when suddenly we braked and stopped. An unscheduled stop at, hardly a station even, at its best a country halt, so insignificant that it was not even considered worthy of a name board. The window was already lowered to its full. I looked out on a single small shack, which obviously served as ticket and parcel office combined, but no activity there, or for that matter anywhere else. Discarded and rusting milk churns, a mongrel dog panting in the sun, the drone of bees, and far off over the fields a glimpse of a church tower, but no life, no apparent reason for what seemed a simply endless delay. Until, at the very moment when I'd all but decided to investigate the reason, we began to pull away. It was then I saw him.
Wait, I say! In the name of God, wait!
A man rushing through the entrance along the platform towards the now fast-moving train, rushing so heedlessly that it seemed he actually intended to throw himself under the very wheels.
Wait, Samuel, wait!
Instinctively and probably against my better judgment, I opened the compartment door, called out, offered a hand, and finally managed to haul him aboard. But it wasn't until I'd subsided into my seat directly opposite my rescued companion that I realized how truly foolhardy we had both been. The man was blind, quite blind.
Kind of you. Truly kind. To risk yourself like that. Truly kind.
Oh, no, the least I could do. Anyone would have done the same.
Oh, they wouldn't. You take it from me, they wouldn't.
What?
Not anyone, not most neither. Most would have stood and watched, and maybe even hoped for the worst. How about that?
The worst? Well, you're surely not suggesting...
A misfoot in, a sudden topple, a screeching of brakes, and then they'd all climbed out to see, my God, to fill their putrid eyeballs, by God, the thing under the wheels, by God. I know, you see. By God, how I know.
His knuckles were white about the stick, gnarled white knuckles about the white, peeling paint of his blind man's stick. He wore a long, old-fashioned raincoat, reached quite down to his ankles. In spite of the stifling heat, he'd buttoned it up tight around his throat, and a black beret pulled down almost to his eyebrows. But most of all, the spectacles, so deep and black, they seemed like the sockets of the dead, fathomless, with only the reflection of my own curiosity staring back at me, my own reflection, and the sudden and uncomfortable conviction that I was being watched, and assessed, inexorably assessed.
Oh, don't think I don't know why they wish it. I know fine why, all right.
I beg your pardon, I do.
Misfortune, calamity. It gives them this feeling of power, do you see? It gives them the feeling of being one up all the time, of being superior all the time.
Oh, but surely the majority of us must be allowed some feeling of compassion.
Compassion, he says. Oh, dear.
Well, I certainly never intended to suggest that we're all alike.
And foolish to presume. Still, you did offer a helping hand, at risk of life and limb, I'll grant you that. But smoke then if you must.
What?
Well, you're damn well going to light up, aren't you?
How did you know that I wanted a cigarette?
Perception. There's a toffee-nosed word for you, innit? But bang on target, all right.
Yeah.
Get done with it, then.
Oh, thanks.
Perception. It's the gift God gives us specials, you see, to make up for the things He's taken away. God. Or the devil. Or whatever.
Will you smoke too?
No. There's no good looking put out. Never could abide the damn thing.
Well, look, if you'd rather I didn't...
I didn't say that, did I? Suggested it in the first place, didn't I?
Yeah.
But kind of you to ask. Kind of you to offer. Perception. No sight. None. Never have done.
Oh, I am sorry.
But smell, touch. Read your mind like a book and no mistake. So don't ever get round to thinking different. No, I'm sorry for that. Not wanting to say that, just by way of protecting myself, you see.
Sure.
Hard times don't help, of course. But most on account of him.
Of him?
Boy, Con be name, Con be nature, eh? Never told him to his face, of course. It would have been the end of me to tell it to his face.
The blind man's knuckles tightened about the handle of his stick again. But a sudden tautness about the shoulders, too, a feeling of violence, so suppressed, so pent. I hesitated to ask the next question, but there was no need. Again, he anticipated me.
Read you like a book. But I told you that once already, and I...
Yes, you
Con. Don't think about him anymore. Not a thing to be thought about, you see.
Your friend, then?
No friend. Never a friend. Oh, time passing and all, begins to wonder if he wasn't sent. A means, maybe, a means of getting me own back.
Revenge?
People, the world, the way it was decided for me. Happy once, before, Con. Mother, home. Just a small farm worker's cottage, only home I'd ever known. Familiar to me, you see. Familiar as the back of this hand. Important, that, knowing it's every corner, every stair. The way every stick of furniture was arranged, and her never changing anything around. Give you a feeling of security I couldn't have found nowhere else. She gave me that. My mother gave me that.
I can see what it must have meant to you.
You can see. She made for it, mind. Worked up at the big house, not the mansion exactly, but the way she described it as yours makes no difference. Hard work, bad pay, long hours. Again, the ruddy power of the strong or the weak in it. But at least the stinking pittance they allowed kept the thatch over our heads. A sacrifice I was glad to make. I never did get over her death. Bad enough sitting by the side of the bed and watching somebody die. But when all you got to go by is the feel, the pulse, the listening to their breathing. Hard, that.
Well, what did you do after?
First off, seemed no answer. Bit she'd managed to say, put on the side, well, soon gone in it. Then one day I gets this idea, almost as though it meant me to get it. Not a damn sound unseemed at the time.
Oh?
Well, there's still their old room standing empty in there.
Oh, yes, a lodger, you mean?
And why not, I think. Still plenty of harvest labour being taken on up at the estate, all crying out for a place to lay their heads. And me with no barn loft neither. A fair share of home comforts besides. So I puts this card stuck up in the post office window tonight, and I waits. But not for too long. Convoy sort of that.
Home from home, as the ruddy Gaulder call it.
This was my mother's room.
Yeah, which still don't make it a suite at the Waldorf, do it? Yeah, junk. You
What?
never see such junk.
Please, be careful.
Oh, not to worry. Can always have it written in the lease, can't we? Some kind of inventory, did you ever get round to your actual inventory, Pops? Oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, well, there's one little item we won't have to be worrying our heads about.
Please,
In the name of God, let's have this window open. The whole ruddy place stinks of mothballs.
Oh, you could make some changes. The room would be yours, so you've been entitled to make some changes.
Yeah, there'll be some changes, all right.
If you think the rent too high, we could discuss...
Look, the asking price can wait. But there would be changes, yes. Changes, all right.
I see.
Well, love of God. You didn't honestly think I'd be moving in and just taking your old lady's place, did you? Did you, Pops? Taking over the nurse companion bit just where she left off?
Oh.
If it's the white stick and Alsatian dog kick you're after,
No.
you should have tried getting it straight from the start.
As far as my handicap goes,
Well, then...
I think I'm self-sufficient.
Oh, sure you are. I noticed that. The way you groped yourself across that landing just now,
It's
eh?
been some time since me mother's death. Well, some time.
Yeah. How about the way you tumbled across that chair the minute we gets through the door? Eh? Just a touch of the old circus act for my benefit, I suppose.
When she was ill, there was this nurse. Rearranged some of the furniture in view of the special circumstances, you understand.
Yeah, well, I understand, Pops. The $64 question is, do you?
Sorry.
Dumb as well as blind, eh? Well, I'm asking you, Pops, if you finally got round to persuading me to move into this rat-ridden garret, do you honestly know what you'd be letting yourself in for? Eh? Pot luck at the best and at the worst.
You're making it sound like some kind of threat.
Change, Pops. But then it all comes down to that, in the end.
But you still agreed to take him?
Not at first, but the weeks passed. There were no other offers.
Oh.
They took the card from the post office window. The people up at the big house were getting pressing. Threats, eviction, legal action. Only routes I had, you see. No choice.
So Khan moved in?
Oh, he moved in all right.
Yeah, and,
I did me best for him. At first, I was even glad, just for the sound of another voice about the place. Well, natural, isn't it?
Sure.
The past can be good, but it's funny how eager we all are just to be alive in the present. Any kind of present.
And it didn't work out then, huh?
He took over completely. Not just his own room. Completely. His friends from the estate up drinking all the hours God made. No notion about paying the rent. And then, early one morning,
Yeah.
my mother's things, clothes, photographs, the bric-a-brac of a lifetime, really. A pathetic pyre at the bottom of the garden.
You ruddy what? Stink, Pops. That's all you got going here. Well then, I'm blind as a rotten mole, maybe, but can't you smell the stench of her, eh? Enough to drive the starlings off the trees, innit? Innit, though, eh? Stink and pus and a maggot-ridden old biddy's garbage. That's all we've got here.
You no right, Con.
No right? Whose bleeding nostrils have they been getting up every hour of the day and night, eh? Got space to expand, you see, Pops. That's what Con needs. I'm never going to get it with this ragbag of mildew cluttering up the place now, was he?
You could have asked.
Oh, go on. So it's asking terms we're after now, is it? Yes, sir, no, sir. 3 bags full, sir, now, is it?
If you just asked first, I could have moved them, couldn't I? Somewhere out of your way.
So look at it this way, my dear old Molly. Convoy's saving you all that extra trouble, isn't he, eh? I'll tell you something funny, though. A couple of weeks back, I damn well goes putting myself out trying to sell the stuff.
You tried to sell my mother's...
Well, of course. That shark of a scrap dealer the other side of the village.
You had no right.
Oh, back to rights again, are we?
None!
Now, go easy, Molly. Oh, unless you'd like to join the pyre, that is. Oh, right, old scarecrow you'd make of it. Fancy your Guy Fawkes a bit early then this year, eh, Pops?
They were hers, damn you.
Yes, so now they're hers again, ain't they? Ashes to ashes, all that garbage, eh? You should be hanging out the flags, Molly. Really, you should. Doing you a favour, convoy is. I mean, to say better than settling for a feast day for them moths now, ain't it? And what about them tarty little cherubs up there, ruddy green with envy when Mumsy gets all this nice new drag through the post?
Why, Con? Why?
Oh, kicks. Pleasure. Yeah. You haven't got a clue in there what I'm getting at, have you? Something you're never going to get round to, Molly. Oh, like tonight, for instance, me and my mates regular old booze up my place, Pops, round about 8. Make yourself a bit scarce-ish, you will do that, won't you, Molly, with Con doing the asking? Always depend on blind old Molly when it's Con doing the asking? Oh, the fire's nearly out, nothing left to save. Oh, you could always try spitting into the wind.
And yet you did nothing.
I could have gone to the police. Should have gone to the police. I see that now. But when you independent on the strength and decisions of others for a whole lifetime, there comes a time when you need so desperately to feel the power of self-assertion, the ability to act. I found a thing to do. Winter was coming. The cottage was fitted for gas. I just got Con a gas fire over his bedroom. Very sensitive to cold was Con. It burned all hours of the day and night, and sometimes he even let it burn while he slept.
So?
One night, I simply turned it off.
Oh, you mean you went into his room and turned it off?
Oh, no, the mains at the downstairs mains.
Well, then?
But then, when the flames had been extinguished, I turned it on again. I blanketed the crack beneath his door, stood there a long time, listening to the hiss of the gas as it escaped into the room. Con's sleep, in his drunken stupor, become deeper, ever deeper, till I decided it had enough, sufficient to me purpose.
You mean you gassed him? You murdered him?
Well, that would have been a kind of revenge, but too simple.
Huh?
I hated him. But there's a need beyond hate. He was quite unconscious when I went into him, as deep unconscious as if you were under anaesthetic. Now, underneath the cottage, we had a cellar. In the old times, it had been used for storing apples, vegetables, and now it was quite empty. Its only entrance was through a trap door set into the flags of the kitchen floor, but long hidden by a big chest used for storing firewood. I pulled the chest aside, opened the trap, lowered the body in. The dank smell of damp, the scurry of a rat.
And you left him there in the...
Not at once. No, one more thing to do, you see. To give him a taste of the affliction he'd mocked and made fun of over all these long months. I returned to me mother's neat front parlour. Her work basket was always on a small window table just where I'd left it. A long steel bodkin, the stout thread just right. I returned to the cellar, and there, in the eternal dark, I sewed up his eyes, stitch by stitch, neatly, methodically, upper lid to lower. I sewed up his eyes, and then I left him there.
What happened when the effects of the gas wore off?
Oh, I'd allowed for that. It was to be the final irony. My final irony.
Where am I? It's not my room. Light, damn you, light. There isn't any lights. It's all dark. My eyes. Name of Jesus, eyes. Tight, closed, stuck. Tight, nothing. Sewn up. No. Help! In the name of Christ, help! Somebody! Out! I'm risking out! Let me out!
My final irony, my final triumph. In the deep, dank dark, he'd search for the door. He'd search, unseeing, screaming with the searing pain of his sewed-up eyes, groping, panicking round the damp, lichen-covered walls, searching, ever searching for the door that would let him out, to the light, to the help he'd always taken for granted.
Not knowing, not comprehending that there was no door.
That the only way out was not in the walls, but through the trap-door not 3 feet above his head. A trap-door, securely bolted but weighed down by the heavy oak chest. I left that night, and I never went back.
But they'd be bound to miss him. I mean, up at the estate.
Over a few days they'd miss him, but he was only a travelling casual labourer. They come and went at will. For a few days they'd miss him, then they'd forget. He was only worth forgetting.
The train had stopped at a small halt. The blind man pulled himself to his feet. I opened the door and helped him down onto the deserted platform. For a single brief moment he seemed to study me, and then he raised the opaque blackness of his glasses, and there seemed to be a smile. In the milk-white, clouded eyes, the ghost of a smile. Then he turned and pulled that dirty raincoat even closer about him and tapped his way towards the exit. The tap-tap of his stick mingling with the bird song. We pulled away into that green, bright world of trees and fields beyond.